Now you have different types of assumptions. There are causal assumptions, which are beliefs about cause and effect relationships. There are contextual assumptions, and these are beliefs about external environment, including political, economic, social, technical, cultural factors. And then for projects, you have operational assumptions. And these are assumptions or beliefs about availability of resources, stakeholder buy-in, implementation capacity, and other factors. How do you write assumptions? There are different ways, but one of the most straightforward ways is using the if-then statements. So you connect the conditions, which is the if, with the expected outcome. For example, if gender stereotypes and biases in educational curricula and learning environments are addressed, then girls and boys will have equal opportunities for skill development and academic achievement. So this is if then, but there are other ways to write assumptions. Assumptions can be the local economy will remain stable, or when pressured, informed or persuaded, companies will change their views, or volunteer engagement remains high, participants have high level of access. So I'm just giving you different examples of writing assumptions. In my experience, persons don't take the time to focus on assumptions in the past. Projects I've worked in the past, they just copy paste. Oh, there'll be enough funding. Women will turn up. But really, I want to encourage you not to do that. Because if you spend enough time on the assumptions, it will help you to have the correct approach for your theory of change. Now, one way to get your assumptions out, you can have meetings, stakeholder consultations, just to question some of the assumptions that you might initially have. Once you come up with your assumptions, you list them. So here we have 3 assumptions listed for a project. If access to affordable and quality childcare services are improved, then more women will be able to participate in the workforce. And this assumption will drive your approach. Because what if you provide quality childcare services, but the women are still not going to work? Because guess what? The social norm is women stay home with children until they're 5. I'm just saying, right? So you list your assumptions first, and then you categorize them. And you should try and have a mix of different assumptions. So not everything a causal assumption, not everything contextual, and not everything operational. Because I've seen projects before where all the assumption is, oh, we'll continue to get enough funding, we'll continue to have enough staff. And they don't look at the causal assumption, which interrogates your results chain or your outcome pathway. So try and always have a mix of 3. It doesn't mean you have to have all 3, but just don't have only operational assumptions and don't look at the context. Now, there are some best practices for your assumptions. Challenge them. An education program assumes parents will re-enroll children in school if they're given financial incentives, overlooking social norms that prioritize child labor over education. And also keep an eye on the context. For example, a financial inclusion program assumes rural populations will adopt mobile banking if provided affordable services and training, but it overlooks the unreliable network infrastructure and low digital literacy. Also, revisit your assumptions. Remember, the context you operate in is dynamic with shifting demographics, policies, and social realities. So always revise them. Other tips, be specific with your assumptions. So clearly define the condition. For example, if local community leaders endorse the health initiative, then community members will participate in health workshops. And it is specific because it defines the conditions, which is endorsement, and expected outcome, which is participation in health workshops. So assumptions should be testable as well. So you can validate your assumptions. If women receive microloans, for example, then they will start to expand their small business within a couple of months. The assumption is testable because you can validate it by tracking the number of women who receive microloans and then who start their practice afterwards. And it goes without saying that your assumptions should be relevant and directly related to what you're trying to achieve. So you can't have a program on health and your assumptions is totally unrelated to health.